The fitness industry is changing, and it's changing fast. What worked 5 or 10 years ago isn't enough anymore, especially for those trainers who want longevity, credibility, and real impact. In this episode, I'm sitting down with Jeff Melis from the Therapy Association to talk about where the industry is headed, why education is becoming a non-negotiable, and how trainers can build successful, sustainable businesses by doing more than just great workouts. If this is your first time listening, welcome to the Solo Trainer Podcast. This podcast is for solo trainer entrepreneurs, for those who are thinking about going on their own or already have made the leap. Here you're going to get real stories, expert advice, and coaching strategies to help you create a thriving business. Now, if you haven't already picked up the Solo Trainer Guidebook and Checklist, which is everything you need to know to start, run, grow, and manage your business, is completely free. It's a great resource tool. Be sure to grab that. You'll see links to that in the description or the show notes. I am Jen Gerasimus. I am your host. I've been an independent personal trainer for 9 years now. But now let's talk about Jeff. So Jeff, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for coming. I'm so excited for you to be a part of this. I met Jeff and Brennan at Fitness Fest in Arizona last April. I had the privilege of having my booth right next to them and got to talk with them a lot. They're amazing, great guys, but also so impressed with what they're doing in the fitness industry and the education that they're providing through the Exercise Therapy Association. So Jeff, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and sharing with everyone about Exercise Therapy Association.
Yeah, absolutely. It was meant to be. Our booths were next to each other, and it was just meant to be that we met. So Exercise Therapy Association is a continuing education company. And so we provide education to health and fitness professionals around the world. And I co-founded the company in 2016 with my partner, Brendan Fox. And we specialize in pain-free training. And we'll probably get into a little bit of that today. But, you know, there's a gap in the industry of what trainers are learning. And we're trying to fill the gap and give them real tools, real knowledge that they can apply immediately to get clients fully functional, get them out of aches and pains, and help them perform at their best. And the reason that's important is because trainers want to have great careers. And so their business card is their clientele, right? So we want to make sure that they have the tools to help people and help them better so that they can build a reputation where they stand out. And that makes it easier to have a flourishing career or a thriving career in the health and fitness industry.
Yeah, what I saw that I loved about you guys was about filling that gap, like you mentioned. Even though I wasn't able to attend one of your workshops because I had my own, I was seeing what you guys were doing with the trainers, people that were coming in. And I just was like, oh, this is so simple and so effective on helping trainers assess and work with their clients that I wanted to learn more. And I was so excited that you guys were here. And I know that you guys are you're very well known in Canada and in other parts, you know, you've gotten in Europe and you've gotten in Asia. And now you're trying to make more grounds here in the United States. And so I was like, oh, we got to get you guys and it really would help you do that. So I'm excited to help you try to do that on the East Coast, but I went up and did one of their courses in Toronto. And so it was their core mastery courses. They have 3 main courses, and then they have a lot of online education as well. And I immediately came back and I did the assessments and what I learned from my clients, and they were all seeing results like right away. And it was incredible. So I'm excited. We'll talk about that more. I am excited to bring Jeff on as we talk about things with business and how the fitness industry is really changing. All right, Jeff. So share with me from your perspective how the fitness industry has really changed over the last decade, and what trainers are still underestimating about that shift.
Yeah, well, there's how the industry has changed, and then there's now the second piece is how's it changing now? right? And those are both really important questions. So let's start with the first. How has it changed? I mean, I started in the fitness industry in 2003. I had a kin degree. I did all my trainer certifications. And training back then was a lot about more of the simple things. It was bodybuilding, it was training for sport, or it was just weight loss. People wanted to lose weight. And those were the skills that we needed to have, right? We needed to help people lose weight. We needed to help them prepare for certain sports and get stronger. But it has shifted. It has shifted big time to today. The focus today is health, it's prevention, it's longevity. People are taking ownership over their lives. They want to do the things that they love in life. Like, they don't want to be at 50 or 60 years old limited from doing the things they love. And so because of those shifts in society where people are living longer, but not only that, wanting more out of their life long term, the training needs to meet that. We're not training people for fat loss anymore necessarily, or for sport. We're training them for life, just to live the lives they want, right? Show up for their families. They want to be productive and energetic at work. We're helping them to do their hobbies on the weekends and live their life in retirement that they want to live. And so trainers have to have the skills that meet those demands. And that's been even more and more shifting in the last decade towards that trend.
Yeah. And you're finding those people that are coming to seek personal training, like you said, they have a specific thing that they are looking for, they need help with. It's no longer like an aesthetic type thing of like, I just want to look good. And also the shift, I think, would you say maybe too, with the more options available for people to do things virtually on demand, has sort of shifted people. Like, either was like you go to the gym and work out, but you don't really know what to do, or you hire a trainer, or you go to a group exercise class. Like, that was sort of it. There wasn't all these options of like, oh, I can go to a boutique gym and I can do this here, and I can go online and get classes with, this. And now there's so many verse of options that if people are just wanting general fitness, they have a lot to choose from. And it is a lot less expensive than having to work with a personal trainer. And, so those that are finding or seeking ones, like you said, are those that have, they are special activity that they want to continue to enjoy doing, and they want to do it pain-free. They've also maybe had some issues, some surgeries, they've had some joint issues, maybe have some medical conditions, things like that requires, they just have to go to someone trusted in order to make that happen.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely.
yeah.
And so that ties into the shift that we're seeing today, right? You
Yeah.
mentioned all the options. There's a plethora of options out there for people now when it comes to like general fitness, whether it's the workout at home, the group class online at home, right? Just following an app, going to a local group studio, things like that. There's a plethora of options, but there's also a plethora of technology now, right? With AI and all the technology advances, it is really changing the industry in quite a big way, right? If somebody is coming for more basic fitness to lose weight, or to just get in a little bit of shape or add some muscle mass, there's so many programming options. There's so many online options for that. There's a lot of ways to do that. And now AI to do those things for you, where you're like, hey, I can just pop out a program out of ChatGPT for building muscle, and it'll give you a really great program.
Yeah.
One of the conferences we were at, I saw an app that's on the phone that was looking at people's overhead squat, right? Like, this is a movement 20 years ago. We used to screen everybody on their overhead squat. And so now the app can do it for you through AI. And I tested it myself, and it did a really good job. It's not 100% of the way there, but it was about 80% of the way there. And it nailed my faults, and it told me what I need to like mobilize and train better in order to improve my overhead squat. And that app is going to be downloadable on your phone for $20 or something like that. So your friend can hold the phone, or you put it on a tripod. So you don't need a trainer for that kind of simple stuff anymore. And that kind of thing is not going to be good enough for people to win in the health and fitness industry. trainers, to be successful, need to maintain a gap. And that's one of the reasons the training industry has changed, right? We're always
Yeah.
looking at the gap between the knowledge of the trainer and the knowledge of the client or customer. And so that gap needs to be maintained. And so in the last decade, we had YouTube, right? So people could watch general fitness YouTube videos and things like that. Whereas I first started in 2003, that didn't exist, right? So what we had to know on day one was less than what you had to know on day one 5 years ago,
Yeah.
because you had to stay ahead of those YouTube videos, because a client could just watch some of those things. And so today, now we have to stay ahead of the AI and these programming apps and things like that to maintain a gap. And that's how we stay useful and relevant in clients' lives.
Yeah. So let's talk more about the gap that you've seen. What have you seen about that gap in trainers, how trainers can fulfill it?
Well, the number one way to be successful at anything is give people what they want and need, like fulfill the demand of what the public wants and needs. And we just talked about, people for weight loss are turning to Ozempic, they're turning to things like Noom, or they're getting like eating plans off of ChatGPT or whatever. So that kind of thing isn't really what the personal trainer does, or if they are doing it, they're not going to be able to demand a good hourly income from it, right? So Jim Rohn talked about this many years ago, that you get paid in life in direct proportion to the difficulty of the problems you solve, right? So if you're
Yeah.
trying to solve weight loss, but someone can do it with Ozempic or Noom or ChatGPT, then you're not going to be able to demand a good wage for it, right? So you need to solve a problem for the clients that those things can't solve. And that ties back to what we were just talking about, that you mentioned, like people are coming to us with a specific need or want, right? Because they're found that these other ways are not able to fulfill those needs for them. So I'm not 15 years old. I've got wear and tear on my body. I've been using my body at work or in life, and it's worn down a bit in this way. And I need to overcome that to be able to do the things that I love. Or I've had this previous injury and it's preventing me from getting back to hiking and cycling, or it's preventing me from, being able to show up to the class that I want to do every week. And so I need help overcoming that specific problem, right? So they're coming to us with these very specific problems. And in order for us to have thriving careers and be able to win in our industry, we need to be able to solve those very specific problems for them.
Okay. Yes. And that's what, like, the Exercise Therapy Association, what they've created and they do is to help solve those problems that these clients are coming to these trainers for, that you cannot get through your just general personal training certification course. And experience does play a lot of piece in that, but the bigger part is trying to find where you can get further education to really be able to answer and solve these clients' problems. Because just like myself, all of my clients have some sort of like issue. A manager I had a long time ago, especially with my nursing background, he suggested, you got to get into corrective exercise. I feel like corrective exercise, this was 10 years ago, was really kind of when I felt like it was coming up on the mainstream for trainers to start doing. And I started to see how that increased my clients that I was getting, because I was starting to understand the body more, about the imbalances and the issues that were going on with them. But even with all of that, is like, you need a simple system. And that's what I love about what you guys have done, is it's really a simple way to assess people and address these issues. So dive into that more, about what you guys have created in that kind of gap that you're feeling. And then what you have seen through all of this in the years you've been doing it, how it has impacted trainers and their business.
Yeah, absolutely. So the gentleman that created the education is Brennan Fox, and he's my partner in this. We co-founded this together, And so he was a trainer working at a medical clinic. He was working alongside doctors where he created the system we use. What he saw was the gap that we're speaking about is this, right? Either somebody's getting injured, right? So they're in a car accident or they have, a blunt force, what we call injury, and they're going to see a doctor, a chiro, a physiotherapist. That's under their scope of practice to deal with this. But then what? What happens between when they're finished seeing the doctor or chiro and getting to back to doing the things that they love in life, whether it's playing soccer with their kids or, doing that favorite activity like doing a high rocks event or a marathon or whatever. That's the gap right there, is how do we take them from the doctor to that point? Now, even if a client has not been in that blunt force or contact injury, again, they are not starting with a fresh new body. They've had wear and tear on their body over the years. So again, we need to take them from, untrained or, this wear and tear state and rebuild the engine or rebuild the car so it's ready to train for the marathon or ready to train for the high rocks or even just ready to go play soccer with the kids, because it needs a foundation of function, capacity, movement to be able to do those things, right? So that's the gap right there, is how do we take them from that place into the place where they're ready to actually train for that stuff, that their body can handle the demands of it without getting hurt, without having to take time off work, without experiencing setbacks, because they're busy. They don't have time to experience setbacks in all these other areas of their life. And so Brendan noticed that gap and he decided to develop tools and a system in order to do it, right? I mean, the thing is this, the body is complex, as we were just saying. There's a lot of different things going on. And so it's fine for one really smart person to say, okay, I understand how this works and I can help this people. But if you now need to teach that to other people, which is what he had to do at the clinic, he grew the team at the medical clinic from 4 trainers to 48 trainers, and they all had to learn how to do this, right? So in doing that, he had to take the system that he developed and simplify it, as you were said, into a system where there's still critical thinking involved, but there's a set of steps that you can follow. There's a system to navigate that helps you make those decisions. And so what he did is he developed these functional assessments that help us get to the root cause of problems really quickly. They see if a client is predisposed for injury, if they already have injury or aches and pains, that let us know what's going on in the body. And it allows us to make programming decisions moving forward to make sure that they are A, fully functional, B, pain-free, C, we increase their capacity to be able to do the things that they love. And so he simplified it because he had to teach other people how to do it. And so now that's what we're teaching people around the world. We're taking those simplified methods of, assessments and then programming solutions. And we're teaching people around the world how they can do the exact same thing, which is, thrive in that gap between, wear and tear or injury and, training for high rocks or training for a marathon. That's where 99% of the clients are living anyways. They're always living in that. Most people are not at that peak shape, right?
Yeah.
And they're not spending a lot of time injured. So 99% of clients are spending most of their exercise time in that gap that we just defined.
Yeah. um, Going back to the simplicity part, that I just want to share for those who aren't familiar with it or in it, that to show talk about how simple this is that and Brennan has done an amazing job on these protocol, these sheets that you use and you go through, and you do some simple tests to figure out which direction with a client, and then you retest. As we know, as a trainer, you have to assess. You don't know what direction to go with your clients unless you assess them. And then you've got to test it and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, then you see what works next, because what works for one doesn't work for another. And it's actually you can really wow your clients a lot when you can do a simple assessment figure out, okay, try a couple things, retest, and you immediately see an improvement in their strength of firing. Because I did their core mastery course, in the firing of their core to improve their scores, and they're like, oh wow. And that can go a long way, for your credibility, and showing that you're an expert as a personal trainer. And I think we need that more in our personal training world, because unfortunately, there are where personal trainers, people don't fully understand capacity, what we can really do. And some of them have like, oh, you just put somebody through a workout, when we can do so much more. And so being able to have these tools and be able to show and highlight, the value that you can give and provide somebody beyond just that is, you have to have that in your business if you want to survive as a personal trainer. Like there's no way not, you've got to, you have to, in order to move forward. So going on that part is talking about with trainers and how it grows and builds their business. So what have you guys heard about when trainers are, gone through your courses, they're specializing, they're having these specific things that they can help clients with, how that's helped their business?
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right in this things is in the sense that you're only as good as your assessments are, right? The reality of it is that, if you're not looking for gold, you won't find it, right? If you're looking for nickel or iron, you won't find gold. You need to assess for gold in order to find gold. So you can only find what your assessments will allow you to find. And so that's the first critical choice that a trainer has to make, is that what set of assessments am I going to use? Because there's so many assessments out there that give partial information, or, they're giving you information, but not what to do about or the answers. And that's why we use functional assessments, because they're quick. Like you said, you can do them anywhere. We do them at parties, right? You can do them on the gym floor.
We did them literally at, we were, just to speak of that, went to dinner. A group of us that went out to dinner. They had somebody that they knew showed up, and we're in the middle of this restaurant doing this functional test on this person, and like that's
Absolutely. Yeah, you can do it anywhere. That makes it very powerful, right?
Yeah.
It gives you results within minutes, which you just talked about, right? Like within minutes, you can see this is what's happening and this is what we need to do about it. And then we apply the exercise solution that creates same day transformations. So within 10 minutes, 15 minutes, you create a change in the client where they feel and notice the difference right away, right? That speaks to what you said about trust. So in today's society, trust is going down, right? With everything that's happening online, and, a lot of people are being tricked or maneuvered or whatever. And so their trust is going down, and just in general in society. And so if you can earn trust in your consultation or your first session with a new potential new client, that's huge, because now they're going to buy into what it is you do, and they're going to be confident that you're the right person for them. So that's how it relates to the business piece for us, is that our assessments have helped people sign up more clients. So we've actually studied in our students, and we've gotten back the information that on average, in new client consultations with potential new clients, our students are closing 56% more of those new consults. So they're signing up more clients in the same number of consults, which makes it easier to fill their roster. Less marketing, less prospecting, less looking for clients, more time spent with clients. So that's one way their businesses are growing faster. And that's across like Europe and Canada, the US, Hong Kong, all the places that we're teaching, right? Another thing where it helps their business is that we talked about that Jim Rohn quote that, like, if you're going to do fat loss and you're competing against Noom and Ozempic and things like that, you're not going to be able to charge as much for an hour of your time. But when you're solving these difficult problems, like where people have had aches and pains, or they've got wear and tear on the body, or they've had a loss of function and can't do the things they love, and nobody else has been able to help them or figure it out, and you're the one to do that, your hourly rate that you can earn or charge in that time goes up. On average, our students charge between $100 and $150 a session, bare minimum, right? And that's
Yeah.
because they're solving a more difficult problem than fat loss or building muscle or training for a high rock session. You can train for those things in group fashion and, pay $20 an hour, things like that. But the problems that we're helping trainers solve are more difficult. And so you can earn more per session and per hour, right? And that means, look, nobody wants to work 1,000,000 hours a week. So it means like a little bit less time having to be in front of clients and spending more time delivering quality to clients. And you end up with this work-life balance that's good for you as a
Yeah.
professional. It's also good for your clients because it means you have more energy and more care to show up for them as well too, right? And
Yeah.
so our students have seen this. They are charging more per hour. They're signing up clients more easily. We have a woman named Sarah. She took our courses many years ago because we've been doing this for 10 years. For the last 4 years, she's been doing in-home training out of her garage and out of people's homes. And she has not had to advertise in 4 years to try and get a client. She doesn't post on Instagram. She doesn't send out emails, nothing. 100% referral business. She helps people get out of aches and pains and they send her friends and families. And she's going on 4 years of no advertising and having a full client roster.
Yeah. And that's ideally what you want. That's what you want. You as a trainer, and you're trying to make this as your business, is you're not having to go out there and search for people, that people are referring you to you, even the point to be like, I can't take anybody else. I wish I could, but you're having to unfortunately turn people away. So what we're saying, for those that are listening that are like trying to grow their business, and maybe you're struggling or you've just gotten started, especially, if you're on your own and you don't have like leads of people coming in like you do at a gym. But this definitely helps you at the gym. And I want to talk about that in a bit, because ideas that people can have with this that they can use at the gym. But I think overall the key thing is that you want to have, you need to be able to speak to the pain points that these people are dealing with. And aches and pains are like one of the top things that people are going to have. And you want to be able to address that with confidence and to show them really, show them. And this is having the conversation before you can even show them. You got to start developing that trust beforehand. But if you really feel confident, if you feel you have a really good assessment. So what's one of the pieces I'm saying about this is having a solid assessment. And as Jeff was saying, there's so many different assessment options out there. You kind of do have to figure out what works best for you and getting as much tools. But definitely those ones that when you assess somebody, and then you can do something and then reassess them and show them that you immediately could show improvement, you've like sold them. You don't have to work so hard at the selling piece, because the selling piece can be hard for people to get to that, to talk about that. But you will have less to do that. So we're like, okay, when do you want to get started? When do I sign up? Like, I don't know, people will be like, I've worked with so many other people and they've never been able to help me with this. And you're showing me within 15, 20 minutes that you can help me. They are going to sign up. So the conversion rate's going to be much higher. And the other thing that's important you're bringing up is you can charge more. I feel a lot of times trainers do sort of undercharge themselves, because sometimes they want to like charge less than what the gym is, which I think is ridiculous. You need to charge at least that, if not more, when you're working for yourself, especially if you're traveling to people. But when you're like shown as an expert in an area, you can charge more, and people are going to be willing to pay it because they see the impact and the help that you give them. And then you'll just have your own, like this one trainer steady flow of people referring you and all of that.
Yeah.
So, anything else to add to that, Jeff?
Well, I mean, like we talked about, your reputation, your clients' results are your business card, right? So, you have someone, they come to a gym, they hire a trainer, maybe they lose a few pounds, maybe they're feeling a little bit better. Are they really going to sing your praises? Or you have someone that's seen everybody, tried everything, they come and you help get them out of pain and back to doing the thing they love. They will tell everybody in their life about you, and everybody in their life will notice because they're doing that thing again. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, I thought you had a knee problem. It's like, well, it's gone because I saw Jen and she helped me, right? And they will sing your praises because you're not solving a small problem. You're solving a big problem that they notice and that everybody else notices around them. So they do send you more people. It also opens up other opportunities. One of our students out west, they took all our courses, they really mastered the material, and they started doing such a good job working with women over 50, helping them get out of aches and pains and back to the things that they love, that they got asked to speak at women's groups, right? So she went and she was speaking at women's business groups about longevity and taking control of your life and getting back to the things you love. She has a waiting list now. She can't take any more clients. She's referring out and she's got a waiting list because it opened up this speaking opportunity for her. So it can help open up those other opportunities. And the last piece to this is the easiest client to get is the one you already have. And that speaks to loyalty, right?
Yeah.
So trainers are going to have an attrition rate, meaning like once I fill my roster, how many of that, if I have 10 clients that I see regularly, how many of those do I lose per year? And there's going to be some attrition, but the lower you can keep that attrition rate and keep clients for longer periods of time, the less you have to go get new clients and the less it interrupts your income and your flow. Providing the types of results that we provide for people through our assessments and our corrective exercise recipes, it keeps people loyal for life, right? Because they trust us. We've built a trust where it's like, I'm not promising you something, I'm delivering this result and you got the results. And so our coaches have had people stick with them for like 10, 15, 20 years because you need to take a person through seasons of life. You may have signed them up when they were 28, but now that they're 40, their body is going through different things and they're going to need you for that new season of life. So when you decrease your attrition rate and you increase your loyalty through your education, through mastering skill sets, it makes it easier to have a profitable and successful business because you're not constantly looking for clients.
Yeah. Increasing that client retention. That's huge. And so continuing to educate yourself. Oh, I had mentioned about for trainers at the gym. And I just want to touch on that real briefly before we kind of wrap up here. That one thing, a lot of trainers, when they're working at a gym, kind of the way to help sort of build your client base, especially for those new ones, you set up a booth somewhere you try to get some of the members interested in signing up for the comp session. And trainers often, it's one of the ways you got to do to build your business, but it's kind of like, what do I do that interests them, that stands out? And these simple assessments like this can greatly increase the number of people wanting to sign up to work with you, because it doesn't take very long. You could have a board up there that's like, are you having back pain? Are you having a shoulder issue? Do you have a hip or knee thing? And more than likely, those people do, and they're going to say yes. And you could do some quick assessment and suddenly be able to fill up your lead list a lot bigger and a lot faster, and maybe even have people sold before you even do a full comp session or for whatever you normally do at your gym. So, all right. Please tell everybody how they can find you guys. More about, again, all the options that you guys have available for people. I sort of mentioned about that you have three main courses that are so the upper body, lower body, and core that are in person. Y'all are starting a live virtual one also. And then you have a bunch of online options too. So share a little more details about that and where people can find you.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the first thing is this: we're big fans of education just in general, right? So, it's important for people to understand, like, we provide a certain style and type of education that a lot of people have taken around the world and have had massive success. But that has come from a journey of education, right? So, health and fitness professionals in general need to invest in their education on a regular basis. There's a huge difference in income, right? So the average trainer that's not regularly investing in education makes between 40 and 60,000 a year. Somebody that is regularly on an annual basis doing some education is making 80,000 plus per year. So it can double, if not more, your income. So we're huge fans of just education in general, right? Trainers need to put aside a budget every year, just like they do for all their other expenses, and say, this is what I'm going to spend on education this year. And the last piece is to understand that it's a never ending journey, right? Like
Yeah.
education
Yeah.
is not something you're just like, hey, I'm going to finish this. It's like, no, I'm going to keep learning for my entire career so you can be successful in this career, right? We're still taking courses after over 20 years. We're still taking courses and doing new things to learn more. So if somebody is interested in learning with us, learning our assessments, learning our corrective exercise recipes, our mental toughness coaching on how they can help clients, help people better, we have a few different options. So we're well known for our live courses. We love to be with people in person. And so those are our mastery courses. We have core mastery, we have upper body mastery and lower body mastery, three-day certifications. We travel around the world, Hong Kong, London, California, all different places, and we teach those mastery courses. We also have self-study online courses that cover different content, but it helps people get deeper into the knowledge, and it helps them with those programming solutions. And those are self-study courses that they can take. We've just launched our very first ever virtual mastery course. So it's launching February 18th, and it's going to go over 4 weeks, and people can get into that and do what we normally do live from any city in the world. And we'll have coaches every week on live with people. And we also do workshops. We are coming to you to do a
Yes.
workshop at the
Come
end
to
of
be with me.
February.
Yes.
And yeah, it's a great way to introduce people to a different way of assessing, a different way of looking at things. And so no matter how people want to engage with us, those are all the different education tools that we have, but we're very easy to find on Instagram at Exercise Therapy Association. Our website is exercisetherapyassociation.com. So we're very easy to find.
Yeah. Yes. And we'll have links to all of that in description and show notes, and even the link to the workshop that's going to be here in the DC area, like Jeff was talking about. And if you want to attend for free, all you do is need to message me and I can get you registered for free. Although we do have limited amount of spots. So you got to let us know so you can get a spot into that. But yeah, you're right on bringing up and encouraging trainers that you will be more successful, have a long career that you love in this, because most people, they get it, they're very passionate and they want to help people, and that's why we get in it. But it is a big challenge to get those clients and retain those clients. And then unfortunately, so many trainers end up dropping out. They realize this isn't sustainable for them. So if you want to increase your sustainability and being able to really do this and have it be the lifestyle that you're, that a career that supports like the lifestyle that you want, then educating yourself is like one of the top things you have to do. And you've got to set aside, set that in your budget to make sure that you are continuing to, to invest in those opportunities for educating yourself. So, because Jeff, and I know Brennan feels the same way, and I do, we really want you to thrive as best as you can in this business. This is why we're doing what we do, because we care about you so much and we want you to be successful. And because we all know how this helps other people and in the long term of things. So
Yeah, we love this industry. We love this
Yes.
industry. We've been doing it for over 20 years ourselves, and it's the best. It's the best industry to be in because you get to help people. You wear gym clothes, you change people's lives, and it's absolutely the best. And that's why we all do what we do, is we really, really love it and want people to win, because you can have a great career. You can support your family and do what you love. It's possible, right?
Yeah.
And so that's why we do what we do. And that's why, you do what you do. You're helping so many people that are out on their own there. And so, we're always rooting for people to win.
Well, thanks. Yes, we are. All right, Jeff, thank you so much for your time. We're glad that you came on.
Thank you so much. I had so much fun, and I really appreciate you having me.
All right, great. All right, guys, until next time, here's the great that awaits.